Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. Welcome to the Artcast.
Welcome. And we are sitting in a studio that is not our own.
No, a nice recording studio.
I know, it's kind of fun. It makes us feel
We're going to get up and play later.
Yeah. Or not.
Or not. Maybe not us. Maybe someone else. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow is the crawfish boil.
That's right. It's the Lisa Lewis Memorial Crawfish Boil that benefits the Arts and Culture Alliance. And Jimmy Lewis, our good dear friend, has been kind throughout the years to keep continuing this tradition. Mm-hmm. And you can have your mud bugs. Listen to some Creole music. And this year it's going to be at Elk Point.
At Elk Point. And
it's from 1 to 6.
Yes, it is.
And tickets are
$45.
That's because he's got to fly those mud bugs in from New Orleans.
That's right, but it's all you can eat.
Yes.
And the mud bugs it's like a seafood boil.
Yeah.
There's
potatoes and onions and carrots and corn and then I forget
garlic, mushroom.
It's spicy.
That is for sure.
It's super spicy.
But it's delicious, and your ticket gets you a couple of beers.
Yes.
And it's really a fun event.
It is a fun event. We just want to mention that it is 21 or over.
It is 21 or over this year for the first time.
Yeah, with the rules.
And hopefully the last time.
Hopefully the last time. But this time we're going to give it a shot, and we just want to make sure you guys don't forget.
That's right. So you can go to the AllieCallieArtcast.com website, and right on the home page is a button that you can click on for tickets.
That's right. It's not too late.
And it's not too late. So.
There's always more mud bugs.
That's right. So, anyway.
Yay!
So the studio.
Studio. Remember that song?
I do.
Phil Collins.
That's right.
See, I know music.
You do.
Anyway.
The studio we're sitting in is Barry Aiken's studio. Barry, what do you call your studio?
Well, when I was a kid, my dad's nickname for me was BareMic for Michael, my middle name. So he always called me, "Hey, BareMics." And so I guess my business and studio is called BareMic Music.
Oh,
perfect.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah, shout out to Dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He asked me one day, "Where'd that name come from?" You used it forever. And I said, "Dad, that was my nickname you used to call me." He goes, "Oh."
Light bulb.
Yeah.
So, Barry, tell us a little bit about your background and your inspiration for music.
Well, at about 6 years old, my parents moved down from Canada, and Dad took a job for Bunker Hill Mining Company and was an environmental technician. And so I went to school and graduated from Kellogg High School. We're kind of a musical family. Mom played the piano and drums. My dad was a really good trumpet player, and my older brother's a good trumpet player, and so always good music. I think I lucked out that a wide range of music was always being played in the house, and music means a lot to my mom and dad, and so I think when you hear that, certain kinds of music, it gets in you. And certain elements or something. So I've always loved music and played drums all through the school system because piano wasn't really an instrument that you could use in school, right?
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah. There's only one piano in the concerts.
Right.
So our band teacher, he was one of those guys that just legend. He'd been around forever. He taught all the schools, not the high school, but elementary music, so got you into it in the middle school. And so I was the younger brother. My older brother was already good. And so he's a family friend, so he'd come to the house. "What are you going to play?" And this was in second grade. "Drums." "No, you're not. We're going to have 10 drummers. You're not playing drums." And so I said, "No, I want to play drums." So he said, "I'll make a deal. You start playing piano, take 2 years of piano." And I was already taking piano. So there's drums all through high school. And it was a minor in college. So my parents, when I graduated high school, the mining shut down over there, and they went back to Canada, and I stayed down and went to our semester actually at NIC, and had a really, really like a professional musician teacher there that said, I don't want to see you back the next semester. And I was loving it, right? I had an apartment on
and he told you not to come back?
He told me not to come back because, and then he got me an audition in Spokane.
Oh.
So
It's because you were too good.
well, he just saw that
You had potential.
I was into it. You know, and he's still around. He's in Spokane. His name's Mike Kelly, and I just love that, the real stuff, you know. And so I got the job in Spokane, and we toured all over kind of Canada and Pacific Northwest, and we were out of town 3 weeks, in town 1 week, you know. And I hardly came over here. I just kept my apartment, but I hardly stayed here at all. But so that was really good. But I still wanted to go to school. So the following fall, I went to U of I for a couple years, and then
studying music.
Yeah, I was lucky there. I wanted to take music education, but you know, I got no scholarships. Nobody helped me to get into school. I just kind of paid as I went, and degree was in secondary music education. I didn't even know that I wanted to teach or whatever, but I got in the jazz program, and I got the job in my freshman year in the A band, which was really cool. Probably wasn't ready, didn't deserve it as far as skill level, but that's when I got to play for a lot of really greats that came through for the jazz festival when it was really big. You know,
Yeah.
Who'd you play for?
Well, who did I play? Okay, so a famous singer that I played the whole concert for, and they just used the rhythm section.
Right.
So as their band, and Diana Reeves really stands out to me.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Wow.
And, you know, and again, maybe I could barely read chords, but I was musical, you know, so it wasn't because I was educated. And I remember we were playing a ballad, and it was in front of it was a big show. She was a headliner, and and it was a ballad, and I played a nice concert, and I didn't know she was behind me, but she tapped me on the shoulder and whispered into my ear, said that was a really nice solo. And, you know, so like, how can you remember like 3 or 4 words from, but, you know, so it was, I love my U of I years. And then I wanted to get to California, so I transferred to San Diego State and got a piano job there, and same thing, got to play with some people, and as they came through for their concerts, you know, you got to kind of be backstage, and right out of college down there, because I was writing, got a record deal, just timing for contemporary jazz, right? It wasn't smooth jazz yet, so it included Spyro Gyra, Yellow Jackets, you know, a whole bunch of the names that now they're older than I am, but just a good time. And then I also because I was writing, I got into the studios down there writing for TV, and so I got hired as a staff writer. And so in my late 20s, that was more kind of money and excitement than I ever saw, right? And like everything, the clubs start shutting down, and we kind of wanted to get back to the Northwest, so after 6-7 years there, and we got to play because of the band. It was called Flight 7, and it was a American Airlines pilot. We were playing at Humphreys by the Bay, which is a huge concert venue, and there was an inside place and there was an outside place, and we were playing inside on a regular basis. And a guy came in and, just like right out of the movies, said, took 2 of us up to his place in Point Loma and had some money on the coffee table, and you know, to us starving musicians, it was pretty, you know. So he said, I want to produce your first album, and up in LA, and didn't really go anywhere, but it got us on. We're on the radio every night, and got us to some of the jazz festivals we played, the Catalina Jazz Festival, and pretty neat for in your late 20s. I think I was probably in my late 20s or mid 20s. So
what a great experience.
But, you know, as a young person, which I guess maybe it should be for all the young. Yeah. But we ended up moving up to then Portland for 12 years, and where we raised our son. And, you know, I recorded some albums there and played jazz festivals, but that's when computers came out, right?
Right.
And so then I thought, so Kelly, who's a school counselor, my wife, our high school teacher from up here said, hey, Kelly, there's an opening at Lakes Middle School. are you guys interested in? So we looked at each other. You want to really go back to Coeur d'Alene? And at that point, it was sounded like a good idea and a pretty place to live, and close to my parents in Canada. And
Sure.
so we did it, and I said, okay, but I'm not working. I'm doing this.
There you go.
Yep.
And here you are.
Now it's on her.
Yeah, right.
So no. So this has been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is that when you started your studio, or is that?
Yeah, I wanted to teach. Sorry, I skipped over a bunch of stuff.
That's
so,
okay.
You know, music is, if you run into anybody from anywhere from middle school to high school and you mention my name, he's a musician, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm literally defined by being into music, you know, kind of 24 hours a day.
Well,
so,
I've heard your name for years and years
Yep.
and years. So.
Yep.
But found out I've always taught. Even in San Diego, I had I think the first job I got was at Allen's Music Center, and it was a family-owned thing, but downstairs he had studios, and so immediately you got 50 students. It was just like a sweatshop almost, you know. Didn't pay the teachers
Right,
very well,
yeah.
but it was still, what instruments do you teach? And, you know, okay, so I was teaching piano, guitar, drums, you know, whatever, and figuring it out as I went, and found out, you know, really like it, so. But I teach in a way that, you know, it has very little to do with my college experiences or whatever. You know, I teach the way if I was a kid, I would have loved to,
Right.
you know,
Have
got
learned.
this information, you know. I mean, because I'm grateful for my classical background because it taught me how to read. And,
Sure.
And I loved it. I didn't know enough to complain or whatever, you know, and I was grateful. So now I teach classical music, never put a dime in my pocket and yet it was you had to really study hours per day if you're serious,
Right.
you know, and there's no outlet for it. So that's when jazz and pop, you know, was
Where
got me. Even solo piano, I don't think I did too much of that, but down in San Diego, you know, and then that's what I mainly did in Portland. I had an agent, and man, I was up at Mount Hood all the time. I'd go up for Friday and Saturday night, and Friday night I'd play at a place, and Saturday I'd ski or golf, and depending on the season, and they'd put you up, you know, and then because it was about 84 miles to the house, so I just stay up there. And so a lot of
Not a bad
restaurants,
gig.
a lot of bars, a lot of
Sure.
solo piano, and that was good for me too. So just a mix of not whatever pays the bills, it's just you know, whatever comes up at the moment, you know. It's,
Right.
you know, and then Kelly got her 2 degrees, and she was doing something she loves, so it took some pressure off.
So do you have students now?
Yeah. So and I stay full. I've never had to advertise, so I keep it right around 30.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
a lot.
Monday through Thursday, mostly after school, of course, but some adults, and you know, I mean, I love it, and it's of course not. It's not. If I was teaching 8 hours a day, one-on-one, that'd be a bit much.
Right.
So I can
Yeah.
keep doing this.
you can kind of share your passion.
Greetings, listeners of the Alley and Callie Artcast podcasts. This is Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. Keeping art alive and culture relevant is the heart and soul of our community of creatives. And as a local coffee roaster who loves a good origin story of a painter or a farmer or a musician, we proudly support the Alley and Callie's Artcast podcast's expansion and exploration through positive conversation. So grab a cup of coffee, preferably one from Tubbs Coffee Roasters, and tune in, humans. Your ears will thank you.
So, Barry, I met you when I was the executive director of the Arts and Culture Alliance,
Yes.
and you were playing, your band was playing at our Riverstone concert series.
Yeah.
And that was back in like 2015, I think, or 2016. And that was North Point Jazz?
Yeah, that was again since San Diego. I didn't know I was a Latin guy inside, but, but boy, even my album Balboa Park that I put out. Well, that's actually what I did when I first moved here. The first 3 months, since I didn't have anything, our house hadn't sold in Portland, so I just stayed in the basement of my mother-in-law at the time over in Pinehurst, because Kelly was driving back and forth for her work.
Oh, yeah.
And I finished that album that was recorded in Portland, and you know, there's a bunch of kind of Latin rhythms and on it. And being in San Diego, that was a huge part of the culture, and so our Latin band up here. So that's what that was a dream, to find a female Latin singer, or a male, I guess.
And she was good.
And Luisa was, boy, that was fun. That kind of, that just opened the idea. And then...
That was seriously one of my favorite bands.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved the fact that her daughter would dance.
Oh, my gosh.
While you guys would
And now,
play.
if I showed you a picture, now they're all grown, eh?
I'm sure,
Because
right?
Luisa and I are still really close, and she's doing her thing, and yeah, they're grown and I think graduated now and
Wow.
on to, but I still say the little dancer, and she laughs all the time because I have all that video of
Right.
her dancing in front of the stage. So that kind of, I was going to say broke my heart, but I knew that was, I wanted to, as soon as we could find somebody else, right, to kind of continue on. And so
why did she leave the band?
I think just not because nothing happened, no band breakup. It just kind of, if you go around town right now, there's just solo acts a lot. And so there's not and here we are, we still get together every Wednesday night and rehearse in here, whether we're playing or not. It's just because it makes our week,
Yeah.
Right.
So we just, otherwise you wouldn't play too much especially in the winter. So, and that was the same schedule we kept with North Point. And she actually, I don't know if she recorded her own album or something, but and now she's like a motivational speaker, and I could be misspeaking,
cool.
but she's just really doing her own thing,
Right.
and her kids are grown, and she's from Honduras, so she's doing a bunch of really worthy things back and forth there. But no, we're still really close.
Yeah.
Friends on Facebook, and so we see what each other's doing, and
then
that kind of just it didn't go away because of anything.
reason.
Yeah, right.
No. And then we thought, well, we got to do this, and so the story of the new band is Roxy, our bass player, is a bike rider. He's cruising down Higgins Point, and there's a wedding going on.
Oh.
And he goes, hey, they look Latin. And so knowing him, he pulls up on his bike. I wasn't there, but the photographer,
Hilarious.
I teach his kids.
Oh.
So I get it from two sides what really
Right.
happened that day,
Okay.
right? And
hilarious.
so that day he saw Eduardo and Katia getting married, and I don't know the exact story, but he said, "You sing, yeah."
There you go.
I mean, it was just like that. And then the next week we met.
You got a new
And here
singer.
Roxanne and I are like we're 5 years away from being dead, and she's 30 or 28 or whatever it was, and that was I think a couple years ago now. And they just ended up being the coolest two people.
That's awesome.
And she had done just traditional singing, so real technical, and here we are dancing
Jazz.
and
Let's go.
Yeah.
Latin music, Mark Anthony, Gloria Estefan, and all this stuff, that makes you say she just excelled, and it was really cool.
I can see
That's
Roxy
awesome.
doing that. He seems pretty brazen.
Yeah. Well, he'll go into Adelanto's and say, hey, anybody here sing?
We need a. That's great.
That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah, a lot of
So
fun
now-
So
stories.
what's the name of the new band?
Well, we just call it Balboa Park. We go back and forth. Naming a band is like, well, Barry, they already know he's Balboa Park, so it was kind of like just default. And I wish we could have come up with we didn't know what was going to happen, and
Well, I know when
if
you
it
were
was gonna
playing,
work.
you and Roxy, I said, well, what do you want to call yourself? And he's like, I don't know. We haven't thought of a name yet. Just say Barry Aiken and Duo.
yeah. Well, yeah. So, the duo is like we're actually playing. We're playing a vineyard, I think, next week down in Lewiston. But so it's Balboa Park is the name of the band. But with her, it's featuring. Even if you look on
Right.
Spotify or something, it says featuring Katia.
Oh, right.
So it's just not because it's any good. Just
So you have a
because,
single out, right?
Yeah, and so Katia speaks, I think, 4 or 5 different languages, and so I had this tune, and I said, hey, we should put some lyrics to this, and there's just her and I in here talking, and she's just like jotting down ideas based on our conversation, and she goes, she came back the next, okay, the title is La Pifie, which is in French. So the song's in French, and
I love it.
and I said, well, what does it mean, And I had to go to Chat GPT, and I inputted all the lyrics. And then I sent them to her, and I said, how's this translation? And she said, that's better than how she explained it to me. It's kind of like, PTA means I messed up. And so that's what the song is.
How fun.
And it's like our first thing ever together. And the melody was kind of there, but I said, no, don't forget about my piano melody. We'll ran back and forth with some ideas. And
so is it jazz? Is it kind of jazz?
It's Latin.
Latin jazz.
Latin, French jazz. Yeah.
Latin
so,
French jazz.
Yeah, it's called, I like to think of it as like world music because we have African tune, we have French tune, we have, she speaks Italian, of course, Spanish, and then we have, I don't know how many Portuguese songs because her husband's from Brazil and they speak Portuguese.
Right.
So I said, well, what do you two talk to each other in your house, And they speak English really well. And they said, we speak English. And I go, well, that makes no sense to me. You both have these beautiful languages, but it's just easier. Your brain either thinks in certain, whatever, your home or whatever.
I've often wondered what it would be like because I keep trying to learn Spanish.
Me too.
And I'm not there yet at all. But, we went to Portugal, and I thought, I'll start learning Portuguese. And I looked at it, and I went, there's no way. I will confuse myself totally between Spanish and Portuguese. Now, maybe it would be different if I knew Spanish really well to learn a new language. But it just is amazing to me when people can speak. How do you not cross the languages when you're speaking?
Yeah, I don't know. And all my cousins were family up in Canada, of course, and I think they start French as a second language in second grade or something, And then if you go to, they call it university up there, they immerse themselves live with a French family or whatever. And so my cousin, who's just a year or two younger than me up there in the Toronto area, speaks it, like nothing. And so it's just a matter of you have to be in that life to pick up. But even that, they're sitting here during rehearsal, both of them, and they correcting each other about the real small things that I would never understand. Verbs or something, or whether it's an OS on the end or AS on the end, or whatever. And because of the difference from Portuguese too.
Sure.
But it's really funny. Roxy and I are just sitting here laughing.
Right, I bet.
And Roxy, man, he can pick up. I don't know if it's just a European thing. Like he totally understands Spanish.
Really?
He can form sentences, and I don't even know where to go. When did you study that? Well, I had a girlfriend in Santa Cruz when he came over. That was Spanish. I said, well, you picked up a lot.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think we should hear a little bit of the music.
I know. I would like to hear a little bit of your recent single.
Yeah.
Well.
Or whatever.
Or whatever you want to play.
Whatever you want to play.
We just love.
I'll play. How about if I play Balboa Park a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
I won't play like the album, but.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Lovely.
beautiful.
Okay, that is the part of the podcast where I cry.
Yeah, there you go. Something always has to get her.
Something gets me. There's nothing. I grew up. My dad's a musician, and he played Barry sax and started piano at 4 and played all through his life. He still plays. Growing up listening to Dave Brubeck and Stan Kenton, and so I grew up with jazz in my house. And my dad is he trained classically for years and years and years. I can hear in your piano playing that you have trained classically, and then I hear the Latin and the jazz. I'm not a jazz expert, that's for sure, but I love your style because it's not. I want to say there's a weird jazz where it's like all over the place. It's almost too improv. I can't say the word.
Yeah, what is that jazz style called? It's like crazy jazz.
I think you're talking about like bebop, which is where all the greats ended up. Once you excel and you just keep going, right? And it kind of like everything, it kind of goes off. I'll get in trouble for this. Goes off the rails a little bit, and it stops relating.
Yeah.
So
like I lose a theme, and then I'm like, oh, why? And then they go off for 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh, too far.
Yeah.
That's for me. I mean, my own personal taste. That I just love what you just placed. I can hear a melody. I can hear someone singing to that. It creates a mood where sometimes that little bit of a crazier jazz makes me kind of go, okay, what is that? Where'd they go?
Well, the idea of jazz is, it's like it's an American word that means really nothing.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't have a definition, but they take a theme. I mean, it could be Mary Had a Little Lamb, and they improvise over it. And so it's more about you state the theme and then you're out of there.
Yeah.
and you improvise over. It's composing on the spot, pretty high level. That part you kind of have to respect. But the concept of my dad will say, "Where'd the melody go?" So and I get that. And,
that was beautiful. That's I think
beautiful.
you do a good job at improvising, Mister.
Well, see, that's nothing like the album version, right? So it's I think nice songs have nice chords, nice melody. Because I'm such a drummer, I like feels. If I start to write a song and I come in here and I go, okay, I haven't written in a couple of days, so I'll throw on maybe a drum loop or something, and boom, ideas just come,
So on your album or your single, did you do the piano and drums?
I actually, I did. Believe it or not, you can see there's probably still some mics left on the drums. I bought a nice recording drum kit finally, and because I thought, well, one of the songs on my previous albums, I have drummer in Hawaii because I get to go over there, lucky enough to go over there and play. And he recorded on No Stone Left Unturned, which is the name of the CD or the album, if I told you, once all the songs are out. Then it's going to form an album. And that's the title cut. And so he had a studio like this over in I think Hilo area and on the Big Island. He recorded drums, which came out great. And I thought, I'm going to start. So on this song, I recorded myself on drums. I played guitar, and Roxy played bass, so it's kind of fun.
So you play,
not that people ask how many instruments you play, and I go, well, there's people who really, this is my main instrument.
Yeah, right.
But because I have the studio here, it's I can take my time and
experiment.
And because even though I'm a teacher, it's hard to, even if I send it like the guy over there, I played drums on it and sent it to him, and so he had a real clear cut of at least what was in my head. I said, now do it better, or let me hear some of your ideas, because I'm grateful to get out of my head. I don't want to hear myself. It gets old.
I get that.
Yeah.
I love that your mom was a drummer.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like that's rare. I mean,
well, go back. Have you ever seen the old videos of Karen Carpenter? She was a drummer.
That's right.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. She never wanted to come out front. So she's singing and just rocking out. And of course, she had that beautiful voice.
Yeah,
and finally, like Herb Alpert and R&amp signed them and said, no, I know you love playing drums, but you got to come up front.
Herb Alpert, he was my favorite. Yeah. I grew up on Herb Alpert.
Yep.
Tijuana Brass.
Isn't
that funny?
We all had it.
Oh my God!
Listen to that
album.
And
he's a great human being. I think he just turned 90 still touring.
Oh really? So was he one of your inspirations?
Well, it was. Dad had every album. I think I remember one. It was called Taste of Honey was the name
Yep.
of that, right?
Taste
It
of
just
Honey.
jumps out at me, and I don't
Yep.
know why. And that had to be when I was 8 or 9 or something,
Yeah.
or whenever that stuff came out. And I don't know if that's Latin, that for the most part, but it sounds kind of Mexican, anyways,
Yeah.
with the
Oh,
Tijuana
yeah.
brass
Right.
and the horn sections and that, But I loved in high school Earth, Wind, and Fire. I was probably the only
Oh,
kid
my
in
God,
Kellogg listened to Earth, Wind, and Fire
my
because I loved horn
yeah.
sections, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they had all that rhythm and.
Yep.
I know. I
So
can
it just
hear now.
depends on.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
So good.
So all those memories or influences, if you think about them, they came from somewhere.
For all your screen printing needs, trust the local you can count on. Pyramid Printing has been a Coeur d'Alene favorite for over 2 decades.
Specializing in screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, and stickers. For all jobs, big and small, just give Eric a call.
Email us at info@pyramidprintingcda.com or give us a call at 208-664-0254.
PyramidPrintingCDA.com.
Ever feel like work and life are pulling you in opposite directions?
You are not alone. That's why we created Thrive, Learn, Connect, a podcast where personal growth meets professional success.
Each week, we share real conversations, insights, and actionable takeaways to help you navigate life and work with more ease, joy, and purpose.
Whether it's managing stress, building better relationships, or finding balance, we are here to help you thrive.
Listen to Thrive, Learn, Connect wherever you get your podcasts, because growth starts with connection.
So, Barry, tell us where can people come to hear you play?
Well, we're doing every 6 weeks to 2 months. I'm calling a series of music here at my studio in the waiting room. It seats about 25 people. We're calling it Live at the Depot, featuring.
Nice.
I guess right now it's featured Balboa Park
Yeah.
the whole time. But
that's great.
But the concept is, I guess I maybe stole it from Daryl Hall, right? He has Live at Daryl's, and he's got a barn over in the, I think near Woodstock. And so he brings in John Mayer or all these artists, and they work on a famous tune and redo it and share singing responsibilities, and so it's a series that
Oh, fun.
then
That's
is
cool.
I think Live at Daryl's, maybe that's call it. So I thought, well, let's do something like that here, and maybe there's some other musicians. The thought was that we could feature. Roxy and I would play in the rhythm section or something, and just see if people are interested in, because it's, there's not much opportunity to play except for these wonderful outdoor events in the summer
Right.
that come up. Those are just the best. But in clubs or whatever, it's just like kind of gone away. And I kind of get on Coeur d'Alene for it because it has such beautiful places. And I've played a lot of cities, and there's some of the nicest places here in Coeur d'Alene, but they don't. Maybe it's just the times they don't place enough importance on what
On
a
live
consistent
music.
live night of music doesn't have to be. Just even
Right.
pick a night, and because we deserve to have something nice, Spokane's got a lot of great places, and they do have places that trios and and good for them. I know it's a bigger, and how people just don't drive to Spokane, and Spokane people don't drive to Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
It's just.
Unless there's good weather.
Well, the lake, they'll come here, right?
Yeah.
And it's really hard if you have a following here in Coeur d'Alene to get them to Spokane.
Sure.
It's pretty tough. And to get any new fans that you develop over there to Coeur d'Alene is you couldn't really count on it.
Right.
So, we get 25, 30 people in here consistently, and they throw a little money in the donation thing. And
Nice.
And
What time
and
do
it's
you
just a
usually
blast.
have those?
Those are Sundays from 5 to 7 when we have them.
Okay.
And I mainly, we got a whole list of people that get contacts, so we try not to contact the same
people.
So, I don't want to feel like they're having to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's nice connecting with, I want to come to one of those. And
Right.
so then we remember
sounds
and
great.
contact them,
Yeah. I know
'Cause
you
we-
just had one recently,
Yeah,
and
Sunday night.
I really wanted to go, but we
Well, I
had-
don't even know why. I just thought, I think I texted you, right?
Yeah.
I said,
Shoot.
Allie, I was thinking of, all the people that, and I contact a bunch of people.
Try to catch the next one.
And then I got to watch it, because I'm keeping the list. And some people say they're going to come, and then, maybe you forget or you don't. And some people say, well, it's just me and a friend, and then they bring 5.
And you're like, whoa.
And I want it to be comfortable, so I'd rather be 5 short than 5 over.
Yeah.
And where else are you playing?
So then we're excited to play Art on the Green, which is, I think, August 1st. We're opening the weekend on the main stage from 11:30 to 1.
Great.
So we're excited for that. We're playing then Arts and Culture Alliance down at Riverstone, August 28th, Thursday. And I think we're kind of like an opening thing.
Okay.
It's a special night, so I think Milongo is after us.
Oh, okay,
so,
yeah.
Right.
But it's
okay.
We're playing 45 minutes, and it's maybe because it's the last one.
Yeah.
They're doing
something bigger,
a little bit different.
Cool.
So it'll be a night of Latin music. So that'll be awesome.
That.
And then we're playing a Latin bar, not a Latin bar, a party that we've played the last 5 years on the backside of a private thing at the back of Aiden Lake. That'll be fun. And then just today on my way driving over here, we do like a pool party at the resort golf course, which is really like a themed kind of a Latin thing, and it's a blast. So I think.
So if somebody wants to maybe book you or find you, what is your website?
No websites, just all social media.
Okay,
so
what is that?
So I have a Barry Aiken Music Facebook. We have a Balboa Park Instagram. At Balboa Park. So many ways to.
Yeah, find you.
Yeah.
Plug
we'll
my
make
name
sure
in.
We'll put those links in our.
Yeah, for sure. In the description.
In the description.
Yeah, and then our song Le Pifier is out now on everywhere, and
so you can get it on like Spotify.
Yep, it's on Spotify. It's on
cool.
Amazon Music, Apple Music.
And how do you
Pandora.
spell La Pifier?
La Pifier. It's L-A separate word P-I-F-I-E. La Pifier.
Okay.
So
P-I-F-I-E.
P-A-F-I-E.
And it means, what does it mean again?
I messed up.
I messed up.
La Pifier.
La Pifier.
You trusted me.
I can say that all day.
Yeah, I know.
Pifier.
Yeah. So go check it out on Spotify.
Definitely.
We have a YouTube channel, so that not much on it yet, but I think I just uploaded a little bit. How everybody's into the shorts and we got an attention span of like 30 seconds these days. So everybody recommends just put a bunch of that stuff out. It's not like we're trying to be. I just love the whole thought of being here in Coeur d'Alene, which is a place that I love, and I can say that because my wife was born here, and I spent 14 years of my childhood here, even though I went away for 20 years.
Right.
But I've been back now for 20 some years, and I want to continue. I know I'm opinionated and all that, but I want to put this place in a positive light. Besides how gorgeous the area is,
right? Exactly.
There are people here that
there are artistic, beautiful musicians and people that are very diverse and educated.
Yeah,
that's right.
And
great restaurants, great places to go out, and it deserves to.
And
have the good stuff.
It does.
I'm pushing for a higher level of pop music, anything.
Right.
I love live music.
So when do you anticipate your album coming out? The one that you've been releasing the singles?
Well, of course, I got sidetracked with the Latin project, but so I have a bunch of singles, 5 or 6 out of the 10 or 11 that are on the album, that will be on the album, that are already out on Spotify and under my name, and I've got the next one that's coming out or to be released. What's it called? It's been a while. This is the next song coming out, and it's all done, and that'll be the next thing. So I'll probably release maybe the next 4 or something, then that will turn into the complete, all the artwork's done and photos and everything. So I would like for that to be out by Christmas, but.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, great.
But the singles are all now, and that just keeps you, as they say, in the cycle. Because there's no difference releasing an album that comes out once.
Right.
Or every 6 weeks doing a single that keeps your name or the algorithms working, and that's what they say.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's true.
It's the first time I did that. I would prefer just to be part of a group of songs that they get put out all at once. But
And that album, when you put it out, is called No Stone Unturned. Right?
No Stone Left Unturned.
Left
yeah.
Unturned.
Yeah, and that
And
song's
will
out
you
already.
produce that as an actual album, or
Physical?
will it, a physical album?
I don't know about vinyl, but I like to produce CDs at least, and I
CDs,
don't know, like, I don't know what the point of that is. I think my truck still has a CD player,
Yeah.
so I use it all the time, but
Yeah.
most people, just
It's-
pay for a streaming service, and
it's
that, and
true.
then as a writer, that's how money gets back to
Yeah.
me. But
Right.
it is fun to
Have a physical.
I still have Balboa Park CDs and the other CDs that I've put out, and to hold something in your hands, it's kind of like if you wrote a book or something. It's really nice. You
Yes.
expect to have a book, eh?
Yeah.
Even though most of my stuff I read is audiobooks,
Well, I was just thinking stylus and vinyl, they'll
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
they'll play your albums.
Yeah.
And in fact, I took an album in just recently
Yeah.
that I never play albums at home. So
Yeah.
why am I keeping it when it could be heard?
yeah.
But it's always
Yeah,
that'd be cool to get
I
your
dig that.
music in there.
I contacted those, and I said, hey, why don't we just bring Live at the Depot over to Stylus?
Stylus.
I said, so we're talking right now.
Oh,
about-
that's great.
So
That'd be
take
interesting.
this, because now I can guarantee 25, 30 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that might not be much, but
That's about all
I'm a
they
jazz
can
guy.
fit
I'm used to
there.
playing for 5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be nice just to take it around. Whoever off night, we don't want to interrupt.
Oh, it'd be perfect.
If
Yeah.
if you want some business on an off night, we'll come in and we'll do the same collect.
Yeah.
If we make you money, fine. If not, we're taken care of by our list of people that we contact.
Right.
And it's
No, I
not a
think
money
that's
making
what
thing,
we'd be there.
anyways. But
We'd be
I
there,
just think
yeah.
it would promote. It'd be a cool thing, eh?
Oh,
It's a-
yeah, it would
it's a
be
great
great.
space.
If you know of any clubs that might
I
interest them,
know.
they'd take no risk at all.
Studio 107 might be.
Well, he was here at other concert, and I've played at his place, and they just moved down to Riverside.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Tom
did.
Durbin.
Yeah.
I
is the guy
know.
who was
I'm
here.
excited for them
Yeah.
to open.
So we want to play there, and he said, so that's a place we'll be.
That would be
playing.
awesome.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Hey.
Yay.
So that's what I would like to have.
More
you know,
places.
where like we can get people out,
Yeah.
because it's not, there's not that stuff isn't going on every night, or
Yeah.
and it would help. It'd be fun for business, I think, because there are slow nights around here, and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just to get
Live music.
live music. I mean,
The
there's
best.
nothing
And good
like it.
live music.
Yeah,
There is that.
there is that. Well, Barry, thanks so much. For
Yes.
Callie and Allie, thank you very
Yes.
much for having me.
You
It's
bet.
a lot of fun.
I loved it. I loved it. You could play all day. I just sit here.
I know. We just sit here and watch you play. I noticed that your piano is a Steinway, which is
Well, this is actually I have a nice piano at home, but this is one of the first people I met in Coeur d'Alene when we came back up was Nick Schilling. His
Yeah.
guitar shop next door, just best buddy of mine, and he's the one that said, "Hey, I think the tenant, he used to own this whole thing."
Oh, yeah.
And so
I
the
kinda
tenant was
remember that,
leaving,
right?
Yeah.
and there were no rooms in this place. It was just cement floor.
Oh.
And so he owned a construction company. Boy, he put this thing, what do you want? I said, well, double doors so I can get the piano in and out for
Yeah.
concerts.
Right.
And so we
Heck
put
yeah.
up all the rooms.
That's
He was
awesome.
what a gracious guy. This is a family piano, like antique, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, nobody's using it in our house, and I have nobody that will take it, and so
You put it
it's
to
been here
use.
for.
Oh, that's so great.
So that's pretty
Yeah.
grateful. So the kids don't even know that they're playing on her. I'm
beautiful.
Like
Oh, really?
I know it
It's
shows
real.
it's years, but
right.
It's gorgeous.
it's still, mine's a beautiful piano home, and this is still a better piano.
yeah, this
Really?
sounds beautiful.
Wow.
Just the way it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
All righty. Well, thanks again.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie. And whatever you do today, make sure it's creative. And hey, listen to some good jazz.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is brought to you by Tubbs Coffee Roasters, ethically sourced, locally roasted coffee, and Pyramid Printing and Embroidery, serving customers near and far for over 2 decades.